There might be a debate out there about the difference or advantages and disadvantages between social media and having a website. Can they work together? Do they work together? Which do you focus on? We're going to cover all that in the podcast today. So grab your favorite beverage and let's get started. Hi, friend. If you are a small business owner who would love to grow your brand online, focus on the right marketing strategies for you, and be able to promote your business with confidence, then let's connect. My name is Jessica Wangelin. I'm a wife and a mom of two, and I've been an online business owner for more than 10 years. I'm passionate about helping you to create and grow a business that works for your life. On the show, we talk about marketing ideas, content creation, website strategy, and productivity to make great things happen in your business today. So let's get started. This is going to be a little bit like that dance battle reel that is super popular right now on Instagram, where the people are like doing their poses and then they like bounce back and forth, right? Have you seen that one? And then everyone gives their opinion about what they want or whatever. So we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of a website versus social media. So what are the good things about each? Can they work together? What should you maybe focus on based on what's happening in your business? So sometimes we question whether small businesses actually need websites and whether you can serve, or really whether you can survive just social media alone. Is that a right platform for you? Does it work? Does it effective for your customers? Is it helping you grow a business? So while social is very have significant unparalleled reach and engagement opportunities, the traditional website absolutely remains a cornerstone of your online presence, something you want to have sustainably long-term to provide you with a customizable hub for your business, for e-commerce, for customer interaction, for content, that kind of thing. So here we're going to talk about the pros and cons of social versus website so you can make the best decision. Now, this doesn't have to be an either or situation. And if it's good to see the time investment for each, what that looks like. I did a presentation about this before, about the lifespan of content, social content and website content, specifically when it comes to either, but both can work well for your business. So the aim here of this show is to help you decide what to invest in. And the decision really should take into account just your resources, your personality, your goals, and perhaps other things that might come into play when determining just how to spend your time on your business, what that looks like. Because we know that it can be a decision that you're making. Reels are fun. I love doing them. They're a great time. But I don't really love having a Instagram strategy. It's not my jam. I love having a blog strategy and a Pinterest strategy and all those things. So if you want my behind the scenes personal opinion, this is really something valuable to take into account when you think about the overwhelm of all the things you have potentially to do for a business and where you should spend your time. So here is my take on some of the pros and cons about social media versus websites. So let's define either, of course, we already know, really. Social refers to apps pretty much that people create and share content to participate pretty much in social networking. They're virtual communities. You can connect with friends. The most popular ones are Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, those kind of things. Lots of comments, messages, likes, things like that. Some of those features are not available on websites and vice versa, with website features. A website itself is a digital space on the internet where you can find info, pictures, videos, just more content about different topics or businesses, usually made up of multiple pages that you can access through a browser, used for so many things: sharing news, selling products, or really just providing information. So your question might be, do you need a website if you have a Facebook group / business page or Instagram or fill in the blank? So on another episode, I talked about whether or not deciding if a website is still relevant for you and if you should get one. But today we're going to talk about, is social media for you? Or is a website for you at all? So there's a lot of advantages of growing on social media. It's super fun. It's social, at least some of the time, right? You can grow quickly. You can do ads on, to drive traffic to different places on social, that kind of thing. But let's take in mind the longevity of social, the sustainability, and the impact, really, of what it looks like for your mental health, for your business, that kind of things. Here's some questions to ask when it comes to creating content for and spending time on social media. Number one, are the posts you're creating on social landing with the right audience? Are you matching up what you're saying with who you want to be reading your message? Sometimes we don't even think of that. Sometimes it's pretty relevant. Are your posts getting seen in a way that's effective for your objectives? Like if you're advertising something, are people actually finding that information, or is it finding them? Do you feel aligned with your presence on social media? Is it accurate? Is it authentic? Or is it just the highlight reel? We know that that's a really important question to think about. So does it affect you mentally in a negative or positive way? So this is in terms of social media content creation. Does it affect you negatively or positively? Is it something you see yourself doing in another 3 to 5 years? This is a really good question. When I started writing this, I thought it's a good thing to think about. Because a lot of the social platforms are decades old now, and they've been around for a long time, and we're still doing them. But do we want to be doing them in the future? Maybe you just feel like you grow out of some of them, or you mature past it, or your interests are different, right? So is social actually working for you to grow? Good question. I love this question. It's very important to think about. Is all of the information you're putting on social media helping you to get to your end goal of either life or business? So valuable to reflect on that. Another one, how do you feel about each of the platforms? And how will you archive your social media presence? Another good question to ask. Think about what that looks like for you. We have a very big digital footprint. What does it look like someday when you don't want to have that footprint and all that information is out there, or you're no longer here and you have to figure out what happens then? So those are just a couple questions to think about when you're reflecting on creating content and spending time on social media. So then let's talk about, will a website work for your business? So this is a big step, and you know me, I love websites. This is my jam. I talk about this all the time, but it is not for everyone. So it's not that you shouldn't be planning out it, but you should be giving it a lot of thought, of course, about putting planning into it, putting thought into it about if a website will work for you and it's the right thing for you. So websites require maintenance and they cost money, but they also can work your business around the clock to grow, your audience and things you want to do. And like I said, even as a designer, I say this is not for every person in every business. So I'll write about this more in the future, but here's a couple questions to ask about whether a website is the right or the best tool for your business. So will you be able to maintain it? Number one, a lot of people and I've seen this straight up. It sounds like a song. People create a website and they publish it and then nothing. I literally created a website for someone. She never logged into it for like 6 months. It just sat there. It didn't do anything. She had no plan. There was no, strategy around what to do with it. I don't think that's the best thing to do. Why would you do that? So also think about what type of information you'll have on your website. What does that look like for you? Is it all business related? Is it a match of your personality? Is it like a personal brand website? There's a lot of things to consider there for sure. Can you use and learn the tech integrations that you need? Or are you able to hire somebody to do what you need to do for your website? So that's something important to consider about the pros and cons of each of it. And then lastly, your own name or business name might not be available as a domain. And then what do you do? So you don't actually have an address that relatively reflects to where you want to go, about where you want people to land on a website that's about you, right? Because sometimes those names are very common and you can't get them. So that's something to consider too. So let's talk about some points to remember about social. So you don't own any of your followers on social media, but building a following on social may get you an audience, but it can also be something that you're building on borrowed land, right? We know that the platforms change. You don't own that content. People have had their accounts shut down. That happens. Social can also be changed really too quickly for any real impact that you might want to be having in your business. Maybe short-term and fleeting is fine for you for something, but it can also be a big time suck for people. So this is a huge factor. Time is not something we get back. So you have to think about, do you want to spend 3 hours creating a reel, or do you want to spend 3 hours creating a blog post that will get found for 3 years instead of just 24 hours, right? Very short lifespan of social content for sure. So there's little to no return on your investment sometimes in creating content for social. It depends. This sounds like I'm not on team social. I don't love it. I do like it. I use it, of course, myself, as you can see. But these are just things that come into play when you think about what this plan looks like for your business. Social media also can be the cause of mindset, confidence, or comparison issues. We've all had that experience. If you had, and then also in the same spot, here are things to consider about having a website. They cost money, like I said. People sometimes just don't know what to do with their website for their business, or they get a website and it doesn't really work for them. And it can become outdated, of course, when your business changes. So you have to make sure that you're in a maintenance plan for that. So let's now go over the pros and cons of a website versus social media so that you can think about which works for you. Again, remember, it's not either or, but you consider where you want to invest your time for your business at this season of your business and your life. Because maybe there's a new platform that comes out in the future and you really love that and it works for you. So here's some social media pros. Wider reach. Platforms have billions of users, provide access to a huge audience. Cost effective. Setting up profiles on most social sites is free, little to no investment. Number 3, engagement opportunities. It allows you literally to directly message like celebrities, right? That's not usually a thing. I mean, it wasn't a thing, right? But you can actually have those engagement opportunities with comments, likes, etc. Viral potential, of course, sharing content on social can quickly reach a large audience through shares and all that. I've gone viral on a couple posts. I didn't love it. It was okay. Some people don't like it, don't want it. But targeted advertising, of course, you can have on social. So you can actually very specifically then, if you have a business and message, get in front of the audience that you want to based on, demographics, etc. So let's talk about then the cons of social media. Limited control. You don't have any control over the platforms and the algorithms. I mean, let's be serious, right? You can put all kinds of time and effort into things and then it just doesn't work. So minimizes your visibility. Constantly monitoring requires like regular check-in. You got to message people, you got to write them back, you got to comment back to maintain like relevancy, right? It's very timely. Platform dependency. So changes in algorithms or policies can actually significantly impact the reach and engagement. That just happens. Competition. There's a lot of businesses on there. There's a lot of brands on social. It becomes crowded, really. There's a lot happening there. Lack of credibility. Some users just can perceive businesses without websites as like less credible or professional because you're just on social and you don't have another place for people to find you or connect. And then, like we said before, short lifespan. So longevity of social posts is really just a couple minutes for some of them. So let's talk about website pros and cons. First of all, pros, the benefits of having a website. Brand authority provides you a centralized hub for showcasing all of your products and services. And just enhancing like your professional ability. Mostly it's like you've got a little bit of clout when you have a website, right? Customization. So you have full control over the design, the colors, the content, the function, all those things. Great to have. SEO optimization is definitely a pro for websites. So you can very highly specifically have the opportunity for greater SEO optimization and then improve your visibility. Because when you think about it, people go search for things online. The results come up are websites. They're not Instagram posts. So next, data ownership. You own the right to anything that you are absolutely trademarked to copywritten to things that not trademarked, copywritten to things on your website that you write about. E-commerce, you can integrate e-commerce into your site, of course, sell things like we were saying, and have a longer lifespan for your website. When you create content for it, specifically blog posts can get found for years later. It is true. People still message me about the pink colors in my house that I wrote about like 10 years ago. Which is great. I love that. So website cons, let's talk about that. There is initial investment for a website, but we talk about this a little bit here and in some of the courses and such that I have. You can get started with an amazing self-hosted website on WordPress for about $60 a year. That includes hosting when you use specific themes or if you spend money buying them. So that's a small investment, but sometimes there's the impression that you have to spend a lot of money, thousands of dollars to do design work. I do charge that for VIP day clients, but that's why I also have courses for you to do it yourself on a very smaller investment. Cons of website tech maintenance. You might not know anything about tech and it just might scare you off. So maybe you're like, I don't know this and I don't want to work with it. So that could be a thing too. Traffic acquisition. This is a con. So unlike social, websites require you to really be proactive about getting actually people to find your website and arrive there through advertising, SEO, other channels, etc. And then another thing is slow growth. Establishes your authority can take time for sure on a website. You want to build up a good library of content compared to like the immediate reach of social. And then let's talk about like user engagement. So another con about websites is like user engagement. Usually fewer features, of course, in social media, potentially like limiting your interaction, but people can still comment on blog posts these days, although even the reach of that has gone down significantly, but it's still there. So this is an important decision, right? What do you think of the list of both pros and cons of having a website versus social media? So It might be something we have a combination of both. We all do, but it might be something where this really does help you decide about what your time looks like and where you want to spend it. As always, if you want to know more about creating your own website, working with me, or doing it on your own, please come visit our site at jessicawangelin.com. And of course, we have lots of details in the show notes about all of these features and things that you can have to take the next steps with your business in the way that it works for you. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I would love it if you would leave a written review on Apple Podcast about whether you found this useful or not. And share it with a friend who wants to know about social and websites. Share it in your stories, and please tag me on Instagram. And as always, we will see you on the next show. Do you have a website that is collecting dust, or maybe needs a makeover, or perhaps does not match you or your business at all anymore? Then I invite you to come to my free 35-minute training about how to create a dynamic website strategy. This masterclass will help you get excited about your website again. Here's what we cover. Discover the power of what your website can do for you, craft your winning website strategy, get organized so you know what action steps to take after you watch the training, give you ideas for where to start with content, a 5-second hack for knowing how to organize your blog, and a list of must-have pages that every website should have and next-level ones for even more advanced sites. I give you all of that at this free training at jessicawangelin.com/training. Please come find it, and I look forward to seeing all the dynamic and amazing things you do for your website today. Thanks so much for listening to the show today. I really appreciate you being here. Please leave a rating and review so that helps more people to find our show and help them with their marketing and their mindset to grow their business with confidence. See you next time.